Okay, thank you, the coordinator. All right, so when we began this journey, at some point we looked at this concept. We talked about operators, where we looked at comparison operators, logical, incremental, and all that. We looked at JavaScript statements. We talked about the different comparison operators, the different logical operators, increment and decrement operators, conditional statements. We then went to look at JavaScript statements, that's conditional statements, looked at the if else, switch, and all that. Then we went into JavaScript statements again, that's loop statements. Discussed different loops in our previous class. We talked about the for why and do why. We're able to iron out their differences as well and how it works. So tonight's class we'll be looking at arrays and functions. And if we have time, we'll go into objects. If we don't, tomorrow we'll just do a quick recap on objects, right? It's really a small topic, not like it's a big thing for now. It's a big topic, right? But for the foundation class, we'll just be looking at the peripheral aspect of it. So when you guys make it to the bootcamp, you look at objects in details, right? So we're going to begin with arrays. So as usual, we'll go through the slide, then I'll pick up some keynotes, and then we'll go to my VS Code and we'll implement everything. Look at the practical side of everything so it will make more sense. So basically, when we're talking about arrays, in contrast to variables, we spoke about variables. We talked about variable declarations, where we talk about the let, const, and all that. I would say a variable is more or less like a container, and it holds just one value, right? So today we'll be looking at arrays. Arrays is also a data type. Remember, when we're talking about different data types, we didn't mention arrays because we were talking about primitive data types, right? So an array is also a data type, but it's a non-primitive data type. So in contrast to the variables that we've discussed that holds just a single value, array can store multiple values, and each value in an array has an index, like it has some sort of let me call it a tag. It has an index. It's like in a label. When somebody walks into the house, you're like, okay, this was the first person that came in. Another person walk in, be like, this is the second person, this is the third person. So that's why I refer to as an index. Right? Now we'll look at all that. And each index has a reference in a memory address. We'll look at that in practical. Then an array, we say, is a collection of different data types. Now, remember we said it can store multiple values, and these values can be of different data types. When we're talking about, let's say, string for data types, let's say string, for instance, it, when we declare a variable, let's say, oh God, let me open my VS Code. No. So let's just make use of the terminal. Sorry, my console, browser console. Let me open another app. So it's only just me talking to myself. Okay, so let's say maybe you have something like const name is equal to Samuel, for instance. Yeah, this is a variable. It's holding just one data type. It's holding just one thing, which is my name. It's not holding my age, it's not holding my gender, it's not holding my occupation, it's not holding any other thing about me, right? It's holding just my name. So a variable, this variable is just mapped to one data type. And this data type, this is a string, right? Remember we talked about how to check data types. When you do console.log, maybe you'll see something like type of sorry, type of that's type of name. See, it's a string. But now, now that we're discussing arrays, we see arrays can hold multiple values, right? And then, besides the fact that it can hold multiple values, these values can be of different data types. That's an array. In an array, you can store strings, you can store numbers. Let's say you have something like const is equal to, let's say, 35. If you do console.log type of age, you say this is a number, right? This is a number. So, but now an array can store both string, numbers, booleans, different data types can be stored in an array. And then and these data types, you say they are ordered, and this ordered is what we're referring to as the index, right? You can access them via their index, and then you can as well modify them. They are changed. You can be changed and change a particular value of an array, right? When you look at that details, okay, maybe let's be looking at it and going. All right, so maybe I can have something here like const. Okay, let me not fast forward. So now talking about arrays, how to create an array then. We have 1, 2, 3 different methods of creating an array. Please let me open my VS Code so we'll be going, because we don't have so much time to spare this night. As usual, I'm making use of my Git bash. Type my WPD to check my current working directory. I can navigate to my desktop, then check what's on my desktop. This is the folder we'll be working with, right? ITQ Center. So I'll navigate to that folder, ITQ Center, check what's in there. This is the folder we worked with in our previous lesson. So let me navigate there. JS3, okay. So ls, these were the files we are working with, right? I can now open this with my VS Code, code dot. All right, we don't need this guy again. I think my VS Code has popped up. Yes, these were the things we did in the previous class. Okay, let me just comment all of this guy. All right, as usual, let me load this with my live server so that I'll be seeing open with live server. Okay, the file, no, we'll change this to Javascript 6. All right, let me speed up my screen. All right, let me open this console. Okay, so let me be writing my JS code here. So this is, so we're looking at array. So in our file here, we said that, let me copy this out. Okay. Comment it. Okay, we say that there are 3 different ways we can create an array, right? Yeah, I think that's what we're talking about, how to create an array. So we say there are 3 different ways. So the first method we talked about here, this is the first one. We say you can use array constructors. Then you can use, this is the second method down here. That's using square brackets, right? Then this is the third method. This is creating an array using the script. Let me comment this guy and then go over them one after the other. Yeah. Okay. So now this is basically the method, the array constructors we're talking about, right? So basically to declare an array, all what you need to do is it's a const, right? I think we have talked about const. You know what const implies, right? Let me just make use of let. Then you now write the name you want to give the array, right? Maybe I could say array. Let me call. Hello, Mr. Banks. Kindly mute yourself. So we can now say this is a new array. So let me do something like, okay, console.log my array. You see, this is an array. Anytime you see a square bracket, you know what they are trying to refer to is an array, right? Okay, let's check what data type is. It is, see, data type of. You see, it's an object. Yeah, it's an object. That's what you usually see if you Google search. This is an object. That's what you see out there. I don't want us to go into the nitty-gritty of why we're saying object here, but definitely we'll get to understand why along the line, right? So this we have our array now, but currently we have there's nothing inside. It's an empty array, right? So this is the second method of declaring array. Now we're looking at all these things. They will make sense soon. So this the second method is using square brackets. So for this method, all what you need to do is just write cons. This is the name of your array. Then you just write this square bracket without writing anything inside, right? Then the third method is you can create an array using split. By split, let's say maybe I have a word like const name is equal to name. That's a variable dot split. Okay, let me now do console dot log some array is okay. Yeah, okay. Basically this is how array usually looks like. If I was able to split this string and turn it into array. So basically the basic structure of an array is something like this. Maybe we have something like called my array is equal to square bracket. You could have 2 to 12. This is a number, right? This is somewhat, this is string. This is true. This is a boolean, right? That we have 23. I could have -4. I could have something like null. So this is an array. You see, this variable here has a column of different values or different data types, right? This number, this is string, this is a boolean, this is a number, this is a number, this is null. So if I can console log, if I do console log my array, you see the array, right? So if you're talking about an array, maybe for those of us that doesn't understand what an array is at all, this is basically what an array is. It's just a variable that its value in all its values are in square brackets, and then you have the individual values followed by a comma, 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 comma. And these values can be of different data type or the same data type. I can have an array of number. Let's say I have cons num array equal to maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is an array of numbers because there are only numbers here, right? I can have an array of just strings, and I can have an array that combines numbers and strings, just the way we can see it here, right? So that's what we're saying. There are two different methods of forming an array. You can first of all use an array constructor, right? And mind you, all these arrays you're trying to form here, they are different. There are actually no values inside. But at some point, when we're looking at array methods during the course of our today's class, we'll see how we can actually push values inside, put values inside of these arrays, empty arrays, right? So this is just what an array is. I want to believe that makes sense. And then to create an empty array, you can use these array constructors. And this is how to make use of array constructors. Just let or cons, depends on what you want to achieve, the name you want to give that array, and then this new keyword and array followed by this parenthesis. And this method is the method we refer to as the constructor method. Then you can use the square bracket method. All what you need to do is just the cons or the let, the name you want to give the array, and then the square bracket. That's it, right? Then you can now form a string. You can split it to form an array, just the same way I split it here, right? So for now, for starters, I'll just encourage us to stick with this for now, right? Just stick with this for now. The second method, and that's what I'll try to make use of throughout our classes today, right? All right, so let's go. That's um, assessing and modifying array items using the index, right? So we say that we can access each element in an array using the index. Remember when we were talking about array, we say that every item in an array has an index. Yeah. Talking about modifying, we say that an array is mutable. By mutable means it is modifiable. By modifiable, I mean it is changeable. You can change that value, right? Don't speak to that also. Once an array is created, we can modify the content of that array. And then we have different methods of manipulating an array, right? We have the push, we have the unshift, we have the pop, shift. Array is okay, learn, concat, and join. Don't worry. Let, let me let me copy all of these guys and then we'll play with all of them as well. Am I back? Hello guys, are we together?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yes, we are.
Great. All right. So I want to also believe you understand what basic what a basic array means, right? That makes sense. So now let's see. We said that you can actually access. Let me paste this down here and then comment it. Okay. Let me comment this one. So continue working with this one. Okay, now basically we have these two arrays here, right? Let me use this one, the first one that has different values. We say we can access an array using its index. Let's say I do something like console dot log. If I see my array, you see all the values in that array are presented in my console. Now you see this first value is of index 0. Let me see, I just press on it. This first value, the index is 0. And always remember, all first values in an array always take index 0, right? The second value has an index of 1, the third 2, the fourth 3, yeah, in that order, right? So yes, then it has a length of 6. Is someone calling my attention?
No, sir, continue.
Okay, that's great. All right. So now, if you see this, these are the various index. But what if I don't want to print all the items in this array? Let's say I just want to print number 12. So now to access number 12, I'll now put my square bracket. Remember, 12 has an index of 0, right? So by the time I save this, what I want to see in my console is just 12. Let's save it and see. You see this 12. So if I want to see just the name Samuel, it's index 1. You see just Samuel. If I want to see just this boolean value true, that's index 2, right? I see, you see 2. So this is what we mean by accessing the element of an array using their index, right? Or maybe, let me put it this way. Let's say I have something like const first value this is equal to my array square bracket 0, so that if I console log the first value. What I should change is 0, right? So basically, this is how you can access an array using their index. And remember, the first value, this is 0, then this is 1. Yeah, by me looking at it, you could see, oh, you could feel, oh, this is on position number 2. Yes, it's on position number 2, but it's on index 1 because JavaScript starts labeling its index from 0. It's counting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I hope that makes sense. All right. So now, let's say, okay, let me comment out this. This is comment. Okay, let's talk about this method. This push. So JavaScript has different methods that helps you manipulate the values or add or remove values, right? Now let's maybe I declare an empty array using those methods we used earlier. Let's say I have something like um, student, let student equal to an empty array. Maybe I'm writing a program and then at this stage I don't know the number of students that are going to be in my class, right? So I'm going to create an array. But here, what happened here was I know that I want to fit in a value 12 inside this my array. I want to put in a value somewhere into this array. I want to put this boolean. I want to put this number. I want to put this no into this array. But what if you don't know what is good you're supposed to put inside? Let's say I know I'm going to have a class tonight, but I don't know the number or yeah, the number of students that are going to attend the class, or I don't know the names, right, of students that are going to attend the class, right? But I want to write a program to store their number, right? I can't just wait until they come to class before I start writing, okay, currently I have Felix, I have um, Juliet, I have, sorry, comma outside, I have Paul. No, I can't wait, right? So what I can do is maybe I could just create um, an empty array, right? So immediately once a student joined the class, I now notice that, okay, I have Precious in the class. I can now come down and say, okay, students, that's the name of the array, dot push. There's somebody in the class called Precious. Precious, all right? Then sorry, this is push. Then I can now see, okay, students again, someone else joined and the person's name is Buma P. I can say, okay, student dot push Buma P. Okay, then while waiting, I discovered that Ijeoma joined. I can say, okay, student dot push Ijeoma, like continuously, right? But now at this stage, let me show you something. If I console dot log my array, remember this is array student. Come on, let me bring it back. Can you see? The array now is showing Precious, Homa, P, Ijeoma before this push. Let me comment these guys out. See, you see, this is an empty array now. There's nothing inside. I console log this, but it's my screen messing up. Okay, better. All right. So now at this stage, there's nothing right. But when this student now joined, I started pushing their names right into this array. So if I save it now, you see their names are now inside this array. This array is no longer empty, right? Let me bring this up a bit. Let's talk about this quickly. because I want to use it immediately. Then the next thing now is, okay, I can't just go through that stress of console logging this entire array to now, okay, what if they join the class up to 100 students? Will I start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till I get to 100? No, right? There's another method that helps you do the counting, and is this length. So to check the number of students currently in the class, I could just easily do something like dot length and showing me that there are 3 students in the class. And actually I have 1 to 3, right? Let me console log that read itself up here so we can see console.log students. Okay, this is the array. Okay, I now check. I now check that length to students of student here. I have 3 students in the class. So what if someone else joins? Let's say who joins. Samson now join. Again, I can still come back and say, okay, students. Oh, students dot push something. I've saved it. You see 4 students now join, and all this is the 4th student that just joined, right? Okay, let me check. Let's see, going further, Sunday now joined the class. I can come back again and say, okay, students. Another student has joined. Student dot Sunday. Sunday. You see, now the number has increased automatically, 5 students, and these are their names. So that's the use of this push method. So all what you need to do is you just write the push and then inside this parenthesis you specify what's going to come in, right? If it's a number, you don't have to put this curly brace, this quotation mark, right? If it's a number, let's say student dot push 7. Now see there's number 7, and then the number has increased to 6, right? Remember, I think we've talked about by the time you do that mistake of putting this number 7 in quotation, yes, it's going to be added up, but this is no longer a number, it is now a string. And let me show you the disadvantage of working with string when you do this mistake quickly before we continue. Let's say maybe I have something like const num1 is equal to 7. I think I've done this illustration before. Where is num1 flagging? I think I have num1 somewhere. Yeah, this is it. Let's go back. Okay, let's say I have num1 7, and then I have const num2 equal to 7 again. And then I do something like console the log num1 plus num2. Who is going to tell us what the answer will be before I save? But let me just close this guy. Who quickly tell us what this will result to?
77.
77, that's correct. Because this is a string, right? Let's go back to the console and confirm. Okay, I got the chat. 7777, that's correct. Something and that. All right, let's see. Console, where are you? Okay. What's happening? Cannot access num1.
You cannot concatenate a string with a number.
You can.
Now you're supposed to use late.
Okay, yeah. Okay, this is what's happening, right?
Supposed.
Okay, let me fix this quickly. Console.log backtick. Makes sense, right? Curly bracelet. I was trying to just call a variable. I totally forgot. I thought I was writing, yeah. Plus num2. Change the type. Can I access num2? What's that?
So you use const instead of late.
No, that's not the reason.
Okay.
Can I access num1 before initializing? Okay, this one, let's take it.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, yes, can you say
Is it
anything?
possible? Is it possible to concatenate a string and a number?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I console log. Okay, let me see number one. Oh, number one is not showing up. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Before initialization.
Rename the variables. Rename them like we did it before.
Okay, let me try const a equal to 7. Okay, console.log is something is happening. Num1. Do I have
Maybe
num1 of?
you
Do I
try
have
it.
num1 of? Okay, this is where it happens. This is where the error is coming from. Somewhere was let me comment out this guy. I thought I commented out everything of another guy here. Okay, this is the ones we're working with. Yeah, you see it, right? Okay, let's go back to what we're doing. Comment this guy, then call this guy back. Num1. All right, let's say I have. Okay, then I was making this mistake again. Okay, yes, it wasn't a mistake. It's all right. Num1 plus num2. Can you see this is 77 they were talking about? Because this is a string. So when you try to add a string and a number, it now merges together and gives you a string. Let's see, let me put this in, let me cut this out and say, okay, const result is equal to this guy now. So let me console log result. Result. So it's 77, right? Let's check the data type of result. Type of it's a string. But remember, one of these guys is a number. So what happens when you try to concatenate a number and a string? It now changes the entire thing into a string, right? So that's what I was trying to say here. By the time you put this 7 in quotation, this is no longer a number. It becomes a string. So let's say maybe I remove this quotation mark here. I'm not going to get 77 again, but I'll get, let me log the result. Okay. Let me bring it up here. Console.log result. You see it's 14. And now it's the type of number, right? But if you do this mistake, it becomes 77 and it's a type of string. Right? I believe that's clear now. Clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Thanks. All right, let's go. I agree with something. All right, so basically, so if you want to push a number, don't put it in quotation. That's what I was trying to explain. So now, okay, I'm calling this guy. Okay, so basically we have looked at push and then length. That's dot length to check the length of the array, and push just to add an item into an array. Okay, but what if now I've decided, okay, let me say this was a mistake. Instead of pushing a student's name, I now push number 7. What if I want to remove it? What if I want to remove it? That's where we have this other method, pop method, removes an element from the end of the array. Don't worry. Someone just said something, I didn't catch it. Okay. In absence of any question, let's move. All right. So that's where we'll be looking at this guy now, the pop guy. Don't need this here again. Okay. All right. So for the pop guy, so basically we looked at length. Let me move it out of here from my head and then put it here. So for the pop guy, is used to remove elements. Mark this from the end of the array. There's here another guy using removing elements in an array, which is on shift. Sorry, which is shift. Remove an element from the beginning. This guy removes from the beginning. This guy removes from the end. Look at 7 is appended at the end, right? Then before we go there, we'll look at this on shift again. Right? On shift. Remember, if I push, it is added at the end. Let me come back here and say, okay, student dot push student push Felix. Yeah, let me push Felix. Student dot push Felix. See, Felix is added at the end after 7. So basically, push is adding at the end. But what if I don't want Felix to be added at the end? I want Felix to be added before Precious. That's where this guy now comes into play. This on shift. So instead of pushing Felix at the end, I can now see students, which is the name of the array, on shift Felix. Let me console log the student now. Let's see. You see, Felix is added at the end. Let me comment this guy. We don't need it. See, Felix is added at the beginning. But if you say student dot push, I say Felix will be added at the end. If you say on shift, Felix will be added at the beginning. So push is added at the end, on shift added at the beginning. I hope that makes sense. And then now in removing elements, right? Let me copy this guy so we look at it at the same time. I hope I'm not too fast. Okay, don't worry, you can always go back to the video, right? All right, so then for pop is used to remove from the end. Remember, this number 7 is at the end. I want to pop it out, right? That I can now come and say, okay, student dot pop. Okay, I have a message. Let me bring down this.
Good evening, Mr.
No, you are not. Thank you. Yeah, good evening.
Munachi.
Okay, thank you, Munachi. Can you mute yourself? All right, so now if you look at the pop, you see 7 up after I popped it out and then console log student, you discover there's no 7 here again. Can you see Felix, Precious, Buma P, Joma, Samson, Sunday? There's no 7, right? So if I check the length of this array now, console dot log student, let me check it. Student dot length is 6, right? That's the length. So let me comment out this. You see 6 because that 7 that we push here was popped out. So it's popped. Let me comment this guy again. See, it's showing out now length is 7 because I've commented this line that pushed the 7 out. So if I comment this guy, becomes 6 elements. And if I uncomment this guy, you see there's no 7 there. So pop pushes at the end. What if I want to remove Felix? I now discover that Precious came in before Felix. So Felix should be pushed out. That's why I'll now make use of this shift. I can now say student dot shift, right? So if I console log, let me copy this. If I console log this guy here and put the statement here before, and this is after. So before, you notice Felix was at the beginning, but after I shifted Felix on line 235 on this line, then the after effect, this is the after, right? You notice that Felix is no longer in this array at the beginning. It's no longer in this array at all. So basically, you use shift to remove the beginning. Pop is like popcorn, right? Pop the ones on top, pop the ones at the end, pop it out. You pop those ones out. You now shift, like people are sitting on the bench, like you now shift the first person out of the bench, right? You pop the last person on the bench. Then to add, because you shifted the person from the beginning, you unshift the person. Now he enters in the beginning. This is unshift. Remember to remove from the beginning, you shift the person out of the bench, right? To bring him back at the beginning, you unshift the person. Then you pop the person out at the end. Then you push the person back to the bench. I believe that illustration makes sense. If it doesn't, just try to find a clue around it. Can we move?
Hello, Mr. Samuel.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. This is MRF. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So all what you've demonstrated now is beginning, end. But what if you want to specify like in the middle? Maybe I want to remove Boma P. Do we use the index? Use the particular, let's say we want to pop out Boma P now. Then we indicate the index, which is like indicate the index, then out, right?
Want me to carry you go where you don't know. Yes, basically you specify with the index. Remember, all values have index, right?
Have index, yes, they have index.
Exactly,
Okay.
they all have index.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So you specify with the index.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
Yes.
So remember, with the index, all these items they have index, right? With the index, you can pick a particular item on a particular position and do anything you want to do with it.
Okay.
You can change how it's written, and you can do a lot of things to it, right? Okay, quick one. Let's play with this. Oh my God, my time. All right. Sorry, I think I got disconnected at some point on the internet. Pray that doesn't happen again. Are we still together? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hi. Hi. I'll share my screen again. Okay, yeah, so we have looked at adding at the end, adding at the beginning, removing from the end, removing from the end. So removing from the beginning. And then with their index, if you specify their index, you can remove in between, you can do anything, right? I can actually look over this entire thing here, and you see I wrote this thing with small letters. We can actually look over and then rewrite this array with capital letters. Let's try that quickly. Please follow along so that I will not waste so much time. Okay. Remember the name of that array is student. This is my console string. Use console dot log student. Okay, these are the students, 5 of them here, right? I could do something like 4. Okay, let me first declare an array outside. Let new student. Okay, let me see. Let student name. Sorry. I want to write their names in caps. All right. I've declared an empty array. So I can now look over that array. Let I equal to 0. Why am I saying 0? Because I want to start at the beginning, right? And then I say for I less than student dot length. You know what dot length will do? It will return the number of students in that array. We discussed this particular condition in our previous class, right? So then the next statement is I'll now say I plus plus, right? Curly bracelet. I can do something like, okay, at this stage I can do something like so dot log. Let me just show you the heading student and then pass an index I. Look at it, just printed out all the students in one after the other. Okay. But this is not what I want to do. Right? What I want to now do is, okay, let me even use this line. I want to say, okay, I could see something like dot 2 uppercase. So uppercase. Sorry, trigger this is the method. Now you see, precious is now within uppercase and all that. But what if I want to turn this thing back as an array? Look, I have an empty array here now. So now that I'm changing each of them to an empty array, instead of console logging, I can push it inside that array. I can say something like, okay, student name dot push. All right. So let me console log this array now. Let's see what that array is. Console dot log. You see now it's an array of capital of the student's name written in capital. So you can actually do a lot of things with this thing, right? All right, that was by the way. Let's continue with our list. Let's determine the size of the array. I think we have treated this. Array is the array. Determine if the value is an array. We don't even need this for now. Let me not cross more hands. But it's just a check, right? Let me talk about it. It's just a check. It's just checking if that thing is an array or not. Let me use it. Okay, let's say maybe I do something like student name dot. I'm only asking a question. Is student name an array? Right? Let me console log this. Console dot log all of this. Syntax missing. What do I need to say here? Student name is not the function. Okay, sorry. So this is array, and then I'll now pass it here. See, right? This is just a check if maybe student's name is an array or not. Let me ask my name is equal to someone. So now let me pass this here. You see false. This is not an array. But what if I go further and say something like my name array? I can say something, okay, my name dot split. split, right? So now let me check this one. Yeah, it's true. Let me console log this. You see what's there. Console.log my this is it. SEMUE. Remember we talked about split here. Let me show you what we talked about split. Creating an array using split, and then look, I made use of it here. I console logged it here, right? So initially this was a string. So if I check this, it will give me, it will return a false because this is not an array. Array is dot array. It only checks, it only returns a boolean. It's either true or false. It either tell you, okay, this is an array or this is not an array. That's what this guy does. All right, we have successfully talked about it. I hope that makes sense. All right. So now with concat. Concat. Now, concat method merges one or two arrays and return a merged array, right? Let's say maybe I have something like const num array. That's I want to declare this guy as a number array. I have just numbers 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's fine. Then I can have something like const string array. This is equal to maybe a. I can't go through that. Okay, this is what I would do. I told you in the previous class I'm very lazy, right? I could do something like yeah, I could do this. Let's put it here. Copy it instead. I want to have a string array, right? So instead of me having to write curly bracelet s, quotation s, comma, quotation e, comma, quotation word. This is this word, comma, quotation u. I can't. So why can't I just write this one word here and then split it and then I will get my array? As simple as that. Because this has already helped me split this into an array, right? So that where is this line coming from? Let me comment it out. Right. So that if I do console the log my name array, look at that's generated that array for me, right? So what we want to do is concat. So now I want to merge these two arrays. This first array, console the log no array. Okay, I want to make this one and this one to become just one single array, right? So I could do something like, okay, let me give it a new array. I want to call it a new array equal to I can call this guy and then I'll put dot concat. Then this is the other array, my name array. I'll now put it inside here. So if I console log this guy now, it will be a combination of those two arrays. If I do console.log, can you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, SEM and all that, right? So this position, okay, let me try to change the position and see. Let me paste this guy. Okay, copy, paste this guy here, and then this one. Yeah, this one was not married. So now paste this one here. You see, this one is now coming first. So which one ever comes first, that's what's going. So I could even have const age equal to 67. I can even come here and do comma age. Can you see age is added here? Okay, I can have another thing like maybe yeah, doing that equal to maybe equal to new. You copy this and then dump it here. You can see the first array, this is the second array, and then this is the age. This is the age here. Yes, good. This is the age and this is the gender, and then has the length of 14, right? We could easily go and check here by saying dot length 49. So this length, I think we use it somewhere. Yes, this is one of the use case of length. You need this length when you're writing project bigger programs, right? At some point you will need that. Maybe you're even designing something like an e-commerce. You will need to be taking note of the items added in the cart and all that. Yes, there are a lot of things you can actually do with length, right? Somebody just mentioned. Why are the age and gender joining the array direct? Yes, they are joining direct because I concatenated them. Look, I added them here. So I added them. So what I'm saying is you can actually put comma and add a whole lot of a bunch of, right? Let me add another thing here. Okay, I'm checking the menu. Look at what I just typed, right? So I can even have another array called ABS. Could be like something like 2, 5, 6. Then I can even add this ABS here again, comma ABS. You see it's added. So basically what I'm trying to show is with this concat you can merge one or more arrays and return a merged array. You can even merge, besides even merging just arrays, you can this just a single variable now. You can still merge them together to form this array. I hope that makes sense, and I hope I answered the question. So the next guy now is join method. Join method. Join method. Let me comment out all this guys so we look at join. Okay, we say the join method joins all the elements of an array using separator and returns string. Oh god, the default join is comma. Okay, basically let me show you what this is trying to do. Let's see, I have something like const, then I have this array s comma a comma n, I got a message, comma u, comma e, comma l. Okay, my name. Let's see the message. I wanted to ask if using join is possible. I'm just about talking about join now. So you see the use of join as well. So for join, you say join method. You want me to read it? Joins all elements of the array using a separator and using and returns the default separator used for joining is comma. Don't want to explain that. Yes, you are on it already. Thank you. All right. So now basically what this join guide does is, remember the split converted my name. Let's maybe have something like con. Let me not type. Let me just copy. Where did I write it? Where I wrote it here. Copy that. Paste it here. This one is flat because it's the same name, right? Let me show you something, but please don't do it. Let's say I have var here, and I have var. You see, do not complain. You see, one of the disadvantages of var, initially, this is a string. This is now an array. It did not complain. And trust me, you can work with it and keep moving. But now let me change it to let. You see it's complaining that you have declared, look at the error, cannot be declared block scope variable. If I change it to const, it's still going to complain, right? So those are the disadvantages of val that came about the use of let and const. Thank God for that. All right. So basically, okay, yeah, I wanted to say that now you see my name here is a string, right? We now make use of this split to convert this my name into an array. Remember, if we console log this guy, we're going to see an array console.log my name array. You see, it's an array, right? So what this join does now is the opposite of split, right? But the other cool part about join is you can as well even add a separator here using a separator, right? Then it comes with the default separator, which is the comma, right? Let's use it and see. So let's say I have something like console. Let me be using variables so that this will make more sense. Const my name dot join. Oh, what's happening now? Okay, yeah, I didn't give any new name. My name, in fact, this is an array. My name array. So this one should be my name. My name, right? So this guy should be the one here. So my name array. This is an array, right? So this guy now does the opposite. So let's say if I console the log, if I console the log my name, you see, it now joined it, but there's a default. This is default, comma, right? But you can as well specify yours, right? Let's say I want to put something like hyphen. You see, s hyphen hyphen, right? Let's say I don't want to put, I want to put something like plus. You see, s plus plus. You could just use anything, right? But let's say I don't want to put anything. I want it to give me my name. You see, you do not just put the quotation mark and not specify anything. And I gave you my name. That makes sense. Great, thank you. Any question? No, I guess. Please, if you have a question, drop it in the chat section, or you can unmute yourself, and then let's proceed because we have a lot to cover tonight. So, talking about methods to manipulate array, those are just the basic methods. They are just the basic. There are a whole bunch of methods out there that, but depending on the use case, these are just the basic method, right? Just to help us go through our forthcoming assessment. Maybe when you get to the boot camp properly, most of these things will be, most of these stuff will be treated, right? But these are just the basic ones that will get you up and running. All right. So what do we have next? Function. Welcome. Finally, we got here. What's the time? So talking about functions, I have a question. Please, what will happen if you use a single position for the split or join method? What will happen? Nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. Let me put it. And you see, okay, see, my VS code, I have an extension in it called Precia that helps me format my code. But nothing is going to happen. See, if you put this single code and I save it, me, I save my code, you just turn it back to a double quotation. But if you use code, nothing is going to happen, both for the join and the split. Okay, thanks. Welcome. Nothing, Juliet. Thank you. All right. So let's go to functions. A function is a reusable block of code or programming statement designed to perform a certain task. Okay, a function is declared by a function keyword followed by a name or parentheses. We'll talk about it, don't worry. And then we have a function can be declared or created in a couple of ways. Yeah, we have declaration function, we have expression function, anonymous function, arrow function. There's one I forgot to include. There's the self-invoking function, but we don't need all those bunch of things now, right? So what we'll basically be looking at tonight is declaration function, right? I'll explain functions and so declaration functions, they look like this. They just begin with the function keyword, followed by the function name and then the parentheses. Then your code will go in between here. Then you now invoke the function. That's called the function, right? Using this, we'll look at it, don't worry. And then function, you can take one parameter, they can take two parameters. In fact, they can take more than two parameters. In fact, you can even write a function without a parameter. It depends on the problem it's trying to solve. We'll look at it, don't worry. Then after that, our practice question. Okay. All right, let's look at function. Okay. Function. So we say we have different kinds of functions, right? But basically, let me just copy it and dump it and just talk very brief about them. Very brief. Very brief. First of all, what is a function? Okay. A function basically is just a block of code. It's like a blueprint, right? It's like maybe you want to build a 3-bedroom flat. Usually you have a plan, right? You draw your plan, then you can use it in building maybe a house in Lagos. Let's say then you now somehow move to your village. You want to build a house in your village, a 3-bedroom still. In fact, you want to build the same building you have in Lagos. Use it. Now, instead of having to go look for another architect to start drawing that plan, same plan you had, you could just bring that, you could just call that plan, and you could just make use of that plan to build the house in the village. Let's say now relocated to another state, want to still build that same house. Instead of having to draw the whole plan again, you could just pick that one you had earlier and then continue working with it. That's just what functions are, right? They're just a block of code to solve a particular problem. Each function solves a problem, right? Let's say maybe, okay, for instance now, let's say I have const. Let me comment out all these things so that I'll not encounter one funny error that will waste my time. Comment. Yeah, I think. Oh, good. Okay, let's say we have something like const A equal to 6, and now have const B equal to 5 or 5. I want to add these two numbers. I could do something like const. Let me not say const. I'll say okay, console.log A plus B. Yeah, give me 11, right? Okay, now somebody now say, okay, Samuel, can you add 6, maybe somewhere down the code again? Someone now say, okay, can you add C and D? And now say, okay, C is equal to 89, and then D is equal to 23. I'll now come back and start repeating myself again. I think console.log C plus D equal to what? 112. Okay, then along the line, now say, okay, add E and F. I'll start again. Const E equal to 45, const F equal to 12, console.log E plus F. And I'll say, the answer is 57. Great, you're doing well. Then later I come again. Can you ask X, like, will I continue going this route? No, no. Doesn't make sense. So maybe instead of going this route, I could easily write a function that maybe anytime I want to perform an addition, all what I need to do is just feed in those values and then the function performs the operation for me. That's a function with parameters. At that point, that function is receiving certain parameters. Then we have functions without parameters. Let's say maybe we have something like this. Remember, the syntax for writing functions is you begin with the function keyword. You must begin with the function keyword. And this format is for declaration function, right? Then you could now see the name of the function. I could say, okay, function addition. So this function now basically is to add, right? Then I could say something like, okay, maybe con A. Don't worry, I'm going to modify this equal to 4, and then con B is equal to 6. I can now say return A plus B. Then I've written the function, but there's nothing in my console. Nothing is going to show, right? Then I could say, okay, to invoke the function, that's where you now call the function, okay, addition, we put curly braces. Now, at this point, I've invoked the function. Let me comment out, okay, let me just copy this and comment this out. Don't worry, I'll show you why I commented this out. I'll bring it back. And say, okay, console.log and paste A plus B. Now I see the answer is 10. 6 plus 4. Look, I invoke, if I comment this guy now, you see nothing is going to show because this function is not called. It's just like my name is Samuel. I'm just sitting here. If you do not call my name, you don't expect me to stand up or you don't expect me to start coming to you, right? You have to draw my attention. Okay, I'll know that this person is calling me now. I have to go and answer this person, right? Do I have to go attend to this person? So that's just how functions work. If you do not invoke them, if you do not call them, they are not going to respond. They are not going to solve that problem, right? Okay. So now, why I commented that, let me bring it back. So now understand. But at this point, yes, this function is invoked but would not say anything in the console because we did not print anything in the console. So maybe let's say I want to print something in my console. I can now say, okay, console.log that function. You see the 10, right? This function is returning a value. It returned a value. So every function basically returns something, right? It's just like you send somebody to the market to buy something for you, and you know that definitely things send the person to get for you. The person will definitely get it. So what you expect, you are expecting a result. So every function usually returns something, right? So this is what is returning, right? But there are different use cases. There are some ways you could just manipulate these some things you want, right? But basically, what I want you to always put at the back of your mind is function, they always return a certain value. And what this function is returning is this A plus B. Let's say I just say 6 now. Look at this is 6. Because what is returning is 6, right? I could have something here like const C is equal to A plus B. Because but I didn't return, what I've been returning here, okay, maybe return something else. I return someone. The function is going to print someone. But if I now return C, you see it's going to return the result. Or instead of going that route, remember I put this function call inside console.log, right? But instead of going, if I don't want to go that route, I could easily say, okay, I can uncomment this guy and see, say, okay. Okay, yes. Don't worry, I'll explain that behavior just now. Console.log 10, right? Okay, now I dropped it down here. It didn't work. Why? Once your code run and encounter this return keyword, it's not going to go further. This return means, okay, you are done with everything. So this is the end point, and this is what you're bringing up. But see, if I console log this, you are still going to get the answer. Console.log this function. You see this 10, right? Let me change this to somewhere. See, somewhere is not printed in the console. But let's say I take this guy up. This is here. Somewhere is printed and 10 is being printed. Anything after the return keyword, forget it, it's not coming out. Return means this is the end of the code, right? That's when we were making use of switch in our last class. I think we are using return. It was break we are using. We use break. Yes, we use break, right? Break also marks, okay, this is the end. Don't go further. Break the code at that point. And that's the same thing return is doing here, right? So basically, this function, there are no parameters. It didn't receive any parameters. This function is not complete yet. I don't like this kind of function because if somebody asks me, okay, add another number again, I'll still have to come back and manually start fixing those numbers. It doesn't make sense. So this is basically a function without parameters. I think we talked that was also included in our slide. Yes, function without parameters. So I looked at function without parameters. All right, so that's just it, right? So there was the time. All right. Okay, so now talking about function with parameters. Let's say I want to modify this function to look better. I could now say, okay, remember to write a function, begin with the keyword function. And what type of function is it? This is a declaration function. Function addition. I want to write this function properly now. I could say, okay, you're going to be adding only two numbers. So you're going to be expecting x and y. Sorry, x and y. And these x and y, they are just variables. They are nothing really big. You can call this value anything. Then my curly bracelet goes here, right? So now what I'm saying is I could just write this very simple. I could just say here, return x plus y. So anytime somebody is calling this function, let me call it inside console.log so that we can see the output. Console.log. So the name of the function is addition, right? Addition. So this is how you call. Remember to call a function, you always put this curly bracelet. Sorry, this parenthesis. So, but this function now is expecting two values. So I could now say, okay, 3, 5. If I save this thing, the answer is 8. Right? So it's now taking 3 as x, 5 as y. So anytime someone says, okay, someone please, I want you to add 35 and 50. I'll just come here. 35, 50. What's the answer? 55. Okay, I want you to add 15 and 5. 15, 5, 20. So I'm not modifying anything in this block of code. All what I'm doing is I'm just bringing that what was this new I used earlier? I'm just bringing that plan, right? The house plan, and building another house with the same plan, right? So remember, block, they solve a particular problem, right? Every function tries to solve one particular problem. So this function now is just solving the problem of addition, right? So maybe I wanted this to be subtraction. It's just to change this to minus. I see 10, 15 minus 10, right? So now let's be sure actually this first value is x. Let me change this guy now to 1. So what we should be expecting is minus 10 because 5 minus 15 is minus 10, right? Let's see, you see minus 10 to show you that this first value is referred to as this, and then this second value is referred to as y. I hope that makes sense. Any question about functions? I want to believe there's no question. Was that clear enough? Can I proceed?
Yes, you can.
Okay,
Proceed.
I agree. So basically, that is it for functions. Let me see. Did I miss anything? I don't think I missed anything. Okay. All right. I'll just quickly talk about this other type of function so you understand what it means. Right. Not like we really need it for what we're preparing for. So we have looked at declaration functions. So we say functions can have parameters and functions cannot have parameters. That's functions without parameters and functions with parameters. So say function with two parameters, right? Basically, what we just did is a function that contains two parameters, right? You can have functions with one parameter, the next, right? Then, practice. Yes, yes. All right, let's try to solve these questions quickly. Quickly. It will be fun. So basically, that's just what functions are all about, right? I saw these questions somewhere, I just copied them. So let's solve them together. I've not even tried solving them. I hope I know go fumble. I was not joking anyway. Alright, let's see. Oh god. Boom. Okay, this first guy. I don't start with question number one. I don't want to lose attention, right? So let's start with the big ones and then we keep going higher and higher, right? So let's begin with this very simple guy here. Copy. So let me call this question number one. Okay, this one says declare a function full name. That's we call this function full name, and okay, declare a function full name and it prints out your full name. Is that all? Declare a function full name and prints out your full name. Okay, yeah, the question wasn't complete. Okay, the question is declare a function full name and it takes first name, last name as a parameter, and it returns your full name. Yeah, this is it. Copy. Copy. I should go back. So basically, this one is a very simple one. It's all what it is function, full name. Always try to make use of the keywords given, right? I've written some interviews where I've like it's just robots that mark those things, right? They're already configured to mark it. So if you don't even give them the right keywords, just feel you know if you're right. Because they'll be searching for certain keywords, certain values. Once they don't see those values, you just take it that you're wrong. Right? So this question is just declare a function full name. So this is like the name of the function, right? So to declare a function, remember I said always begin with the keyword function, then full name, and now it takes first name and last name as parameters. These are the parameters it takes, and then it returns your full name. This is a very simple one. Curly bracelet. These are the parameters: first name and last name. Curly bracelet. Here I could just say okay, return. I could just say first name plus last name, right? So basically, if I console.log, I'm giving it two parameters. The first one is my first name, Samuel, comma. The second parameter is my last name, okay. Oh, I didn't call the function, comma. So the function is full name. we invoke it and then pass in this parameter. Once I save it, it's going to merge these two names together because there's no space here. Let me save it to see. Look at it made some. Well, there's no space here, right? Maybe if there are so many ways you can go about this, right? You can try to play the super smart key rule by saying, okay, do something like space equals to now declare an empty space. This is an empty space, right? You now call this guy in between them by concatenating it, right? Space, space. You see somewhere, right? So there's a whole bunch of ways. So if I don't even go this route, I could do something like return backtick. What's happening to my keyboard? That language thing. Sorry, see my keyboard has changed. Here's the language thing. Can't we add a space before the closing quotation mark of the first name? No, let me stick something on my keyboard. Backtick, yeah, okay, yeah, backtick. So I could do something like backtick, or backtick, $sign, first name. Here I can give space and then $sign, curly bracelet, last name. It worked. So using this template literals, like as I explained in the previous class, you don't have to go through this stress of plus and all that, right? With you just write it as though you call the first variable, call the next, then give it space, and then or could even do something like, okay, like my full name is, right? This is my full name is. I can play with this a lot. Could do something like, would this guy work here? I don't think it will. So let's try to upper. Yeah, it did work. So now my first name to uppercase, they have converted my first name to uppercase. Okay. So we could just do a cool lot of stuff. We could just go simple by returning this and that. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, I got a question, but can't we add a space before the closing quotation mark? Closing, can't we add a space? Okay. Your line 320 is that single quote for what? 320. No, it's not the single quote, it's the backtick. Backtick. That button below your escape button on the keyboard. Backtick. Is not a single quotation. Is when you use the backtick, that's the only way you can access all these features. That's the only way you can do this, right? But if I use that single quotation, I'm going to get a funny looking error. You see, you just turn the thing into a string, which is not what I want. All right. Thank you. I don't understand your question. Saka. Can't we add the space before the closing quotation mark of the first name? Closing quotation mark. Oh, here. Yes, we can, but that doesn't make sense. You don't expect your user to be doing this, right? Let's say I write this function now for people to be printing out people's first name. How would the person know that he's supposed to write his first name and then put a space? So all those things, you have to handle them by yourself within the code. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, great. Thank you. All right, let's check the next one. Declare a function add numbers that takes two parameters and return. Oh, we have done this. An area of a rectangle is calculated by following a perimeter, a volume. Calculate the area of a circle calculated as follows. And this rectangle is very easy. It's almost the same thing as the addition. All what you need to do is just change the addition sign to multiplication. Maybe you guys should try this one. So I'll drop this. In fact, I'll drop all these questions in the WhatsApp group so you can solve them by yourself. I'm just looking at the ones that may look funny. Okay, let me solve this particular one on area. Reason why I want to solve it, there's something I want to show us. Then I think we'll wrap up here for today. I got the message. Okay, this one says we should calculate the area of a circle. Okay, the area of a circle is calculated as follows. This is the formula. Right? Write a function which calculates area of circle. Okay, so this is, we can use this as the name of our function. So I can say, okay, something like function, this guy, curly bracelet. This is the formula I'm making use of. I can copy this formula and dump it here, right? This is pi. Remember, this is asterisk, right? So for this pi, so basically what we expect the user to impute is the regis, right? Because pi is a constant. There are some questions that they will even give you the value of pi already too, right? But even JavaScript has a method gives you these values, right? Before we go into this question, let me show something real quick. Maybe I have something like console.log math. See all this bunch of methods. So, but basically what we are looking for is this guy, pi. Look at pi. And we will all know this is the value of pi. If you punch your calculator, this is what you're going to get. Right? So maybe I can then, instead of trying to, if pi is not given, and I want to play a cool kid around it, I could just do something like, okay, math dot pi, right? Then I expect the user to impute the radius of the circle, right? Copy. So this is like radius. Then I'm going to return area, right? So let me just do console.log. This is the function. I'll paste this guy, and then let's take the radius of pi. Let's click it off. I think. So this is going to be the area of the circle. So I can even add up something. Let me see something like so. This is centimeter square. Yeah, this is right. Yeah, we have plenty numbers, right? You can see even round this thing up, right, with a JavaScript function. Before I use, let me show the use of that method. Let's say maybe I have something like this. A, did I declare A anywhere? I don't think so. A is equal to 2 points, all this value. I could do something like, okay, console.log math.random. Oh, math.rand A. No, sorry. This generates random number. What's the floor? This is a math function. Math, math dot, what's that method again? Yes, this is it. Floor. This is what I'm looking for. If he gave me two, just this two, right? Give me two. So I was able to use this guy now. Let's maybe I change this to 5. He still gave me 2. That's just the useless disadvantage of this guy. But ideally in mathematics, if we're rounding up any number above 5, this should give us 3, right? So I think there's still another method that helps us to do that. Let me check. What is that guy called again? Math dot what? I think I'll remember. Code round. Yes, this is now it is 3. Right. So maybe you could just want to put this guy round math dot round, just round this number. So but if let's say this is 4, this is 2, it's rounding it down. Anything above 5 now round it up to 3, right? So math dot round. So I can now come here and say okay, math dot round. What do I want to round up? I want to round up area. Then log it. You now see 79 instead of giving me that 78.20 values and all that. I don't think there's any difficult question yet. Calculate the circumference of the circle. The formula is already given. It's just 2 times math dot pi times the radius that might be given. This is pretty straightforward. This one, the volume, just length times width times height and all that, right? And then this is also very simple to work with. I'll just drop this in the WhatsApp group so that you guys can play with it. Right. I think that is all for tonight's class. Thank you very much for staying to the end. That was a gift I promised you guys in the WhatsApp. So mostly you should be expecting questions around this answer. Any question before we jump off the call? Any question?
Hello, Mr. Samuel.
No question.
There is a question on
Sorry?
that. Somebody said, is it compulsory to return a function, to always use the return function?
Is it compulsory
Check
to
your
do what?
chat. Yes, check your chat. Somebody asked the question.
That is it
To use
compulsory?
return in your function.
Okay. Is it compulsory? It's a good practice to use return. There are some maybe frameworks that if you're working with and you don't use return, you get. Okay, let me show you guys something quick on my system. I was building an Instagram clone. Where did I see it? Where did I see that guy? Where did I see the social Instagram clone? Yes. Okay. Oh. Git bash. Oh. Okay. Please. Try not to look at this thing. Let me first of all run this so you see the output. Okay, while it's trying to start, let me show something. Can you see return? I'm just returning a bunch of JavaScript inside a function. Okay, I think it has opened up. Yes, still loading. Starting. Let's quickly stop wasting our time. Good. I think that's started. Let's check it out. Yes, this is the clone I was building. Yeah, this is the clone I was building. Okay, let me go back to my code build now and then remove this return. Delete it. This is a function, remember, right? But what I use this is an arrow function. Let me go back to the browser. Let's see what will happen. Oh, I did not see it. Sorry, let me see. Let's see. It's loading. Oh, yeah, I see that guy. Maybe the console to up. Okay, yes, I know where we go and remove the return. That will save the quick effect of it. After here, yes, return. Yeah, this is the name. This is the functions we'll be playing. This function keyword, name of the function, and then this is the block of function itself, right? Let me try this guy and see. I'm looking for the one that will give us quick effect. See, my whole program has crashed. Let me go to the console and see the error. It's not even throwing me any error or let me try to navigate different routes. So it's not even showing again at all. Let me go back and fix it. Let me just undo. Yeah, this is the return keyword, right? Let's go back. Yeah, everything is working all fine. So that is it, right? It's a good practice. You could write a code that will actually solve the problem, right? But just put it at the back of your mind that every function needs a return keyword, even if you're not making use of it or not. Because remember with this guy now, I can even remove this return and just easily say console.log this result. Console.log this guy, and then even remove this console.log here, right? I can remove this, and it will still give me the result. Where is that? Yeah, you see we have 79 is still here, but this is not a good practice. But maybe if you want to go this route, you can put the return keyword. Remember, the return is used to tell the function that, okay, this is the end of this particular block of code. Remember, like we tried earlier, anything coming after the return keyword is not going to execute. So you could even do console.log here to print out the result, or let me put this in maybe command X and call this call result. Result is equal to this guy here, and then I'll just put this guy here. 79 is there. If I even comment out this return keyword, it's going to still give me 79. That doesn't mean my code is not working, but that's not a good practice. You can still do your research and then give me your own feedback. I want to believe that's all. Any other question? Any other question? Okay. Sakai is asking, please, is this the last class? The coordinator, I think, yeah, our assessment begins on the 12th, right? 12th is like, okay, tomorrow maybe we could just do few minutes, or let's say 30 minutes or 40 minutes of questions and answers, right? And then we'll try to do a recap. Maybe if you have from your own studies, you have questions you want me to attend to, I can attend to them tomorrow. Maybe 30, 40 minutes, that'll be fine. But if the coordinator has anything to say about that, you can still always communicate, right? Then is it compulsory to use the tone? Yeah. Okay, yeah. I didn't say this earlier. It's a good practice to use it. Please always do. In fact, let me just, it's compulsory so you get used to it. Likewise, the assessment is strictly on JavaScript. Yes, it's strictly on JavaScript. So with everything we have done so far, if you've been following me from the beginning, you should be able to do well in the assessment. Or in fact, with what we did today, if you were able to get good grasp of it. Thank you. Okay. Any other question? If there's no other question, I'll hand over to the course coordinator now. So if he has any message to pass across to us, he will. And then bye for now. Know how to reach me. I always drop a message in the group if you need my assistance. If I do not reply to it in time, but know for sure I'm going to reply you. And if I still take too much time replying, just send it to me. Or keep tagging me on it. And the coordinator will draw my attention. Thank you very much for staying till the end of the class. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Or was I busy wasting my time and talking to myself? Please, can I get your feedback?
The class was okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Hello.
Yeah, I really love your method of teaching. Thank you. Yeah, I can hear you. Someone saying hello.
Okay, thank you. I must say you've really done justice to all the classes. Thank you very much. For me, I'm still having issues with my GitHub, the repo thing. I'm yet to do it.
You're still having issues with what?
Yes, the repo, how to create a repo and push out whatever we are doing.
Okay. Did you watch those videos? Or is there a particular issue an error you usually get when you're trying to push? So I'll know.
Yes.
What's
Nice
the error?
screenshot and paste it on the platform so you can.
Yes, please. Screenshot and okay. I think I scheduled a meeting with you and I didn't keep to it.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Okay, but I'll try to reach out to you tomorrow.
Okay, sir. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Please, if I don't, can drop a message, tag me, tag the coordinator, and then he'll draw my attention to you. Please, I'm sorry.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Any other thing? Okay, thank you so much, guys. I enjoyed the section myself, so let me call the attention of the coordinator.
Yeah, hello guys. Good evening. Hello.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Hello. Good evening. What's up?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
All right. So how's JavaScript? How's array and everything? I hope you guys are getting it. Hello.
Thank sir.
All right. Let me
Okay.
do a quick one. So who among you have already booked a slot for time slot for the assessment? If you have booked a slot, just drop an emoji as a chat, right? In the chat section, just drop emoji and book a slot.
Sir, you say what? So repeat. I'm not hearing you.
Oh, I said if you have already booked a slot for your assessment, right? Just drop yes in the chat box, right? Okay. How many ladies do we have on the call right now? I have Joma. Joma is a lady. Please, Muna is Muna a lady? Muna, are you a lady or a guy?
Guy, it's a guy.
It's a guy. Oh,
Yes.
are you a non-binary? Oh my apologies. Who else? Oppo A5. That's a guy too, right? Resume learning. Okay, all right. So just like we have been saying, right? The assessment is nothing new. It's not a question that you encounter, you start sweating under AC. No, it's something within the space of what you have learned here, right? What you have undergone through this foundational plan. But one thing for sure is that the assessment is going to be based on JavaScript, right? And like I said, just like, when you are solving mathematics question, sometimes the lecturer is not looking at the final answer. Yeah, they are looking at the steps you follow to arrive at that final answer. So those steps are your thought process. Those are the things we are looking out for. We are looking out for how you can break question down, right? When they say, okay, in a class A, B, assign scores for students in this class, group A, blah, 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 breaking it down. You either using switch statements and also the method you use to break it down is one of the important things we are looking at. We are not particular about whether you got the final answer. So we want to check how good are you, logic. So that's what we are looking at. So don't kill yourself if you are solving the question and you are getting the wrong answer. No, we are watching you and we are watching your thought process, right? So that's it. So I still encourage you to keep practicing and practicing and practicing. And that's one thing you can't take away as from a developer, somebody who is aspiring to be a developer, right? You keep practicing till you keep writing that code. You can't be writing code with your I understand it. You need to write that code. No? It's not a matter of understanding. So the more you write that code, the more it stick, the more you get used to those syntax, right? So every programming language uses the same logic. The only difference there is the syntax. If you are moving from JavaScript to React, the only difference is syntax. I mean, JavaScript is even in almost every other language. And that's why it's one of the most popular languages, right? There's JavaScript in React, there's JavaScript in React Native, JS, name it like that. Right? So I wouldn't want to bore you guys. So thank you once again for joining tonight's class. Assessment is starting in 3 days time now, if I'm right? So get prepared and then, yeah. We can't wait to have you guys in the boot camp. So thank you guys and good night.